And on the subject of drugs, fentanyl seizures and deaths are way up under Joe Biden, according to the Arizona Department of Public Safety. And 95% of the fentanyl is coming across the border. Congressional Republicans are accusing the president and his Homeland Security Secretary of a total dereliction of duty. Now there's a resolution in the House to impeach Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. It's called H.R. 582, and should Republicans take control of the House, it could pick up some momentum. One of the co-sponsors is Montana Congressman Matt Rosendale, and he joins me now. Congressman Rosendale, thank you so much for taking the time. Talk to us about this. What are the charges, and then also what is the process to try and do this?
So the charges are that Secretary Mayorkas has been completely derelict in his duties and has violated his oath of office. He has constructed a plan to basically turn the control of our southern border over to the cartels, and he's been very effective at it. We have virtually no immigration plan whatsoever that's being implemented on the southern border. He has dismantled ICE. So once we have all of these illegal immigrants in our country, they're not able to return them to their countries of origin as well. And we have mounting problems. I've traveled to the southern border now 3 separate times. I went 2 times in 2021, did not go for a while. And then about 2 months ago, I attended another tour with Representative Andy Biggs from Arizona. He's been very, very vigilant, making sure that members of Congress who truly want to be informed about this issue can see it firsthand. And he's arranged for these different tours. And it gives us the ability to meet with not only the Customs and Border Patrol, but the local law enforcement, the local farmers and ranchers. And when we see that the border, once again, operational control, which is in statute, has been turned over to the drug cartels instead of maintaining it by our own authorities. This is a big problem, and it is a clear violation of the oath of office that Secretary Mayorkas took, and a dereliction of his duties.
Now, Congressman, a cabinet member has only been impeached once before in American history. It was over 100 years ago. He didn't get convicted in the Senate. Is this really more about trying to force him to resign? And also, do you think it would probably make more sense to spend time on legislation like preventing the federal government from resettling illegals in these states, in the dead of night, and Congress taking more concrete steps?
So that's a fair question. I think that the impeachment resolution is truly not just a political stunt. I really do believe that Secretary Mayorkas has demonstrated that he is hurting our nation. And we have introduced, Republicans have introduced legislation to actually fix the problems that we're facing there on the southern border. I myself introduced a bill to the Remain in Mexico policy to put into statute one of the Trump administration rules that he was able to implement. It says that when you come into our country or try to and claim asylum, rather than being processed and released into our country until such time you can get a hearing date, which now we know is out as far as 8 years, which most of the people that get those hearing dates never show up for anyway. Rather than being released into the country, you would have to remain in Mexico. We have legislation to apply additional pressure on the Northern Triangle countries to make sure that they're not releasing people. So there are different pieces of legislation that have been introduced. And once we gain the majorities back in November and get sworn in January, hopefully we can do that as well.
Yeah, you got to stop those secret flights, though, and that's something you can do legislatively. I want to shift to President Biden. Really livid this week after a federal appeals court ruled that the DACA program was unlawful, although it seems like the so-called dreamers are going to remain in America, at least for now. Congressman, we have been talking about this issue for more than a decade. What's the resolution here specific to the DACA recipients?
Look, we have dreamers here in our country, too, that were born here. And they've got aspirations and dreams that aren't being fulfilled because we have so many problems coming across the southern border. What about the 105,000 people that died in our country last year from drug overdoses, the
Right.
vast majority of which were from fentanyl. What about the dreams of their families and they had for themselves? I think that we
Yeah.
need to seal our border. We have to secure our southern border and stop this flow of drugs and illegal immigration from taking place because we're destroying the lives not only of our own citizens, but the 250,000 to 300,000 people a month that are entering into our country, Tom, they're suffering dramatically as well. They're suffering while
Absolutely.
they're taking this
Hmm.
terrible journey trying to get into our country. And they're suffering long after they arrive here because they have a financial obligation to the cartel and they're paying that off through being forced into prostitution, drug smuggling, or indentured servitude
Yeah.
to pay off the cartel at a substandard wage job because they are here illegally.
Yeah, there's nothing humane about this for anyone on any side, whether you're American or illegal at this point. Congressman Matt Rosendale, thank you so much for being with us, sir.
Thanks for having me on, Tom. Appreciate it.